You might love Carnival, you might have taken dozens of cruises, but just one wrong move, even a small one, could get you banned for life. Sound extreme? It's not. Carnival has adopted a strict zero-tolerance policy when it comes to behavior that threatens the safety or enjoyment of other guests. Recently, the brand ambassador himself spoke out, comparing certain passengers to a pack of starving hyenas, and the cruise line hasn't hesitated to issue lifetime bans when necessary. The real concern? You don't have to get into a fight to get banned. There are actions many people consider harmless that could still get you blacklisted from the system. Let's find out on today's episode of Cruise Now. The first thing to mention is fishing off the balcony of your stateroom. It sounds almost surreal, but at least 2 guests were permanently banned from Carnival Cruise Line after sharing a video of themselves fishing straight from the balcony of their stateroom. In the TikTok clip, now deleted but still widely shared across other social media platforms, one of the guests can be heard excitedly shouting,
"Oh my God, you actually caught a fish!"
Shortly after, the other person is seen reeling in a greenish-yellow fish directly from the ocean below. They seemed thrilled by the moment, but what followed turned out to be a nightmare for them. Carnival responded swiftly. A spokesperson said, "Fishing from our ships is prohibited. We have identified the guests, and they will not be cruising on Carnival again." Now, here's the twist. Carnival's cruise contract doesn't explicitly say you can't fish from your balcony. However, it does strictly prohibit bringing live animals on board, aside from certified service dogs, under section of their cruise ticket contract, and once you reel in a fish, technically, you're attempting to bring a live animal onto the ship, which violates their policy, regardless of your intentions. Beyond the legal terms, it's easy to understand why this is a serious issue for cruise lines. Fishing off a moving ship can pose a safety risk to other passengers or crew on lower decks, introduce marine contamination if lines or hooks are left in the water, and violate environmental and maritime laws depending on the ship's location. What seemed like a funny TikTok moment turned into a permanent ban and a viral lesson in what not to do on a cruise. So if you're ever tempted to turn your balcony into a fishing spot, even as a joke, just remember, that one catch could cost you every cruise you ever plan to take. Next is to get someone else's luggage. Many cruise passengers rely on porters at the terminal, trusting that their bags will be safely delivered to their cabins on embarkation day. Unfortunately, one Carnival guest ended up without his suitcase for the entire cruise because another guest took it. Jason and Tammy Merritt were sailing aboard Carnival Magic in February 2025 to celebrate their wedding anniversary. But the celebration took a sharp turn when Jason's bag never made it to their cabin. His suitcase was missing for the entire cruise. Carnival compensated him around $600 to cover essentials like toiletries, clothes, and underwear. After disembarkation, Jason used the AirPods inside the bag to track its location and discovered it had remained on the ship for weeks after their cruise ended. "We kept showing Carnival, 'Hey, we're tracking it. Hey, it's here. Can you go to deck 0? "No, it's not going to be there. We've searched all the floors and every room has been checked. There's nothing," he said. Eventually, Carnival located the suitcase inside another guest's cabin. The woman admitted she liked the bag and decided to take it. As a result, she was permanently banned from all future Carnival cruises. The third mistake is smuggling drugs on a cruise ship. Cruise lines, including Carnival, have a strict zero-tolerance policy when it comes to drugs. While cannabis may be legal in your state, all forms of drugs, including edibles, CBD oil, and marijuana, are completely banned on board cruise ships. This ban also applies to travelers with medical conditions. Even if you have a doctor's note prescribing legal medical marijuana, cruise lines won't allow it on board. One passenger learned this the hard way after attempting to bring CBD gummies onto the Carnival Horizon. Melinda Van Veldhuizen, 42, from Dallas, Texas, was detained for several hours and ultimately denied boarding after security discovered a sealed package of gummies in her carry-on luggage. "I was freaking out because I don't even have a parking ticket, I follow the rules," she said. Van Veldhuizen later received a letter stating she was banned from all future Carnival cruises. This decision was based on your actions on the current cruise, which were a violation of ship rules, interfered with the safety and/or enjoyment of other guests, or caused harm to Carnival, wrote Captain Rocco Lubrano, according to her attorney, Darren Stabinski. The fourth behavior that can get you banned from a cruise is stealing cruise ship property. Just as you shouldn't take another guest's belongings, trying to scam the cruise line is equally risky and can have permanent consequences. Even something as simple as bottled water can get you banned. While many amenities on board are included in your cruise fare, others come at an extra cost. For example, Carnival provides 2 bottles of water in each cabin, but they aren't free. Each one costs over $4.50, and opening them means the charge is automatically applied to your onboard account. One TikTok user thought she'd found a clever loophole. She showed how to carefully open a bottle without breaking the seal, drink from it, then refill it with tap water, tricking the system into thinking the bottle was untouched. However, Carnival quickly caught wind of this. Brand ambassador John Heald addressed the situation on Facebook, confirming that the guest had been permanently banned from sailing with the cruise line. He wrote, "The lady who was also on TikTok, showing how to drink water from the bottles in the cabin without breaking the seal, has been banned from cruising with us ever again. It was a costly mistake. All over a $4.50 bottle of water. And finally, bringing a weapon on board. Finally, one thing you absolutely should never bring on a Carnival cruise is any kind of weapon." Kendra Gordon and Travis Rainey shared a video from inside their cabin aboard a Carnival ship, revealing that they had successfully smuggled a handgun on board, storing it inside their room safe. Gordon noted that other items, including pickles, hot dogs, and an open bag of popcorn, had been confiscated during security screening, yet the handgun somehow made it through. In the video, she says, "We're all good," referring to the concealed firearm. In response to the incident, Carnival issued a clear statement. The guests who recorded the video have not sailed with us since April and have been prohibited from sailing with Carnival in the future. This incident serves as a serious reminder. Carnival enforces a strict zero-tolerance policy when it comes to weapons. No exceptions. A shocking deportation incident has just taken place aboard the Carnival Sunshine. 18 Filipino crew members were abruptly removed from the ship by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, with no clear evidence publicly released. The incident unfolded quietly, without any prior notice, leaving the rest of the crew in shock and confusion. This breaking news has sent ripples through the U.S. cruise industry, not because of anything involving passengers, but because it directly affects the crew working behind the scenes. According to multiple reports, CBP recently deported at least 18 Filipino crew members from Carnival Sunshine while the ship was docked in Norfolk, Virginia. These crew members were allegedly detained without access to legal counsel, handcuffed, removed from the vessel, and then deported back to the Philippines. The justification provided in this case has raised serious concerns. The crew members reportedly weren't told why they were being deported. Only later was it revealed that CBP accused the men of possessing child pornography. Yet CBP failed to present any evidence to support such a serious allegation. None of the crew members were actually arrested. Under U.S. law, if someone is arrested, officers are required to submit a sworn affidavit detailing the factual basis for the arrest and potential prosecution. Since the men were deported rather than formally arrested, no affidavits were ever filed. All of the crew members have denied any involvement in possessing child pornography. Unfortunately, their denial did not change the outcome. They were removed from the ship and sent home, without due process or a chance to defend themselves. As every cruise ship enthusiast knows, anyone, whether a crew member or a passenger, found possessing or distributing child pornography, is typically arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. However, what's deeply concerning is that in this recent case, no such clear evidence or formal charges have been made public. Instead, it appears that federal customs and immigration officials carried out a sweeping and possibly unlawful deportation of Filipino crew members without legal representation and based on unsubstantiated accusations. So, what do you think about all this? Have you ever encountered a situation like this during your travels? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more cruise ship news and updates. So, what is the aftermath? Filipino advocacy groups are calling this what it is, an illegal abduction. These crew members were hardworking spouses and parents with clean records who had passed rigorous background checks to obtain their U.S. work visas. The sudden deportation, cancellation of their visas, and a shocking 10-year re-entry ban have brought financial and emotional devastation to their families. According to advocacy representatives, this immigration raid is part of a troubling nationwide trend where crew members are being deported under similarly vague accusations, despite holding valid visas and having no criminal charges filed against them. This is not like previous cases where there was solid evidence followed by prosecution. None of the workers on Carnival Sunshine were charged, one representative stated. In fact, from what we understand, there is no evidence at all. This new hardline focus by CBP on crew member deportations is creating fear and anxiety among tens of thousands of cruise workers. One group noted that the remaining crew on ships are living in fear that they'll be next. Over the past few months, CBP has deported at least 13 crew members from the Victory First and Victory II cruise ships. Similar immigration raids were reported aboard the Viking Octantis and Viking Polaris, where 16 more crew members were detained and deported in Detroit. In May, CBP arrested 11 Royal Caribbean crew members, deporting 10 and only charging one with possession of child pornography. According to the Philippine Workers Center, as many as 80 other Filipino crew members from Carnival Mardi Gras and Carnival Vista, both based at Port Canaveral, Florida, were also deported between April and May. All three ships, Carnival Sunshine, Mardi Gras, and Vista, are operated by Carnival Cruise Line. Sadly, Carnival has yet to step in to support its former employees in any meaningful way. In the latest incident, the Filipino crew members were immediately terminated once CBP boarded the ship. Other crew could face arbitrary and possibly unlawful immigration enforcement next, but Carnival has not offered any guidance to help protect them in such situations. Their response after the incident failed to instill confidence. This is a law enforcement matter. Carnival always cooperates with law enforcement investigations. In response, Filipino advocacy groups and crew rights organizations have demanded action. We are challenging Carnival. They should be protecting these workers. They benefit from them and should provide legal counsel. Besides, it's becoming increasingly clear that many Americans are uncomfortable with the current administration's approach to immigration enforcement. In fact, a recent poll shows that 54% of the U.S. public believes the government has gone too far in its deportation efforts. Disturbing stories and viral images, like ICE agents wearing masks while detaining foreign students in the street, snatching migrant workers from Home Depot parking lots, or sending immigrants to forced labor camps in El Salvador, have sparked widespread outrage across the country. And now, with U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, accusing cruise ship crew members of possessing child pornography without presenting public evidence, legal process, or allowing access to legal counsel, the situation only fuels growing public distrust. As these heavy-handed tactics continue, Americans are starting to ask tougher questions. Where's the transparency? Where are the checks and balances? And most importantly, where is the humanity in how we treat people who come here to work, study, or seek a better life? This isn't just a story about deportation, it's a powerful reminder of the importance of rights and transparency in the cruise industry. If you believe this story deserves to be heard, please like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss the hottest cruise news coming your way.